Uh, Shoot, after the games we have, but we've been so busy in our season, we don't ever get time to go back and watch clips. But individually, yes, I went back and watched those games and just watched how everybody, ball was moving, ball was going in. It's just good to see clips like that.
You were hinting at it a little bit, but how do you guys get back to that level of play on offense?
It starts with your mindset. We got to go back to that mindset we have. For our first road game at Villanova, a lot of us were thinking, I don't want to say the word revenge, but we were thinking like, this is our time to shine. We gotta show the world what we can do. So we got to get back to that attitude.
Last home game of the year tomorrow is going to be a little bittersweet in some ways.
Oh, you said is it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, it definitely will be. It's going to be my last home game as a sophomore, so that's kind of interesting for me. I remember last year. I don't remember our last home game as a freshman. I just remember seeing Duncan, Muhammad, Jerron, all guys like that. Just, I think I seen Duncan tear up. I might have seen him tear up. It was just this is gonna be bittersweet for sure though.
Is Charles going to tear up?
I'm gonna make him tear up. I'm gonna try to look at him like, oh, Charles, your last home game. How do you feel about this? He probably won't buzz. He has that poker face where he just has the same look every time.
Speaking of Duncan, how about him getting an NBA start?
I seen that. I didn't get a chance to text him. Busy with class and stuff. But I'm watching from the shadows, and I was so proud of him.
Coach said after the MSU game that you get stressed that you guys don't build your season around beating them. But was this maybe a tougher bounce back than the other losses you've had so far?
For sure. Obviously, it's going to be like that because it's an in-state game, and just we weren't thinking about the game all season. We didn't have it marked in our calendar, but it's good to have those bragging rights, beating your in-state team at home, and now we just got to go to their spot, come out with a W.
Isaiah, last year you guys really mid-February took a big step forward. Do you, just remembering back, do you remember what the biggest factor was in the team making that big step in mid-February?
Everybody put their side agendas aside and played Michigan basketball. I think that was the biggest step we made going in from this late February into that March when we got hot. Everybody stopped thinking about after the season. Everybody was thinking about we're here now. We're not going to think about the future. So.
Do you think that needs to happen again this year? Or is there anything that?
From what I know, everybody on the team is here for Michigan basketball, and I really hope they're here after we just lost to Michigan State. So I really hope there isn't any side agendas. From what I seen yesterday's practice, everybody seems to be focused on this next game. So it's great.
Isaiah, speaking of Duncan, I was talking to him earlier. He said that you still keep in touch fairly recently.
Yeah.
So how is that relationship now that he's graduated?
It is, and it's like a big brother to a little brother. I learned so much from him. Him putting his pride aside and coming off the bench last year and winning Sixth Man of the Year is just huge. It just shows his character and how most guys would fit. Freshman took my spot, but it was more of freshman's gonna help me be a better player. And I thought about that when he told me that, and every time now I'm thinking about that right now because it kind of happened to me. So I just always model what I'm doing right now after Duncan. So
What's the biggest change you've seen in Xavier this year?
I mean, we all knew he was an animal last year, but he's a beast this year. He's doing everything. He's finally knocking them shots down that he worked on all off season. He's finding guys, dribbling to the basket. He's just making the right play every time he touches the ball, and can't forget about his defense.
Is he always as fierce as he projects when he comes in this room?
Oh, yes. Yeah, how he is when he walks around is how he is on the court. He's straight up, all about business.
Isaiah, Jim Harbaugh said on his podcast yesterday that if you were ever interested in playing football, that he would love to have you on the team. What's your reaction when you hear that?
When I seen that, I said it to my dad. He said, "I told you so." Because I used to play football back in like high school, freshman year. My dad made me put it down because I was getting too tall. So he said, "I said, watch, Michigan might have to need a tight end, a receiver, anybody, or a quarterback to go and just throw the ball along." And my dad just likes to joke about that kind of stuff. So I kind of wasn't surprised because I have a couple football friends in the team. They always joke about that.
Is that something that you would ever be open to?
Always. I'm always open to play any sport, but right now it's basketball.
I know it's always important to have a short memory when you have a disappointment. Talk about the approach going into tomorrow night's game with this team now after the loss on Sunday.
This approach that we're taking is the approach we should have had going to Michigan State. It's kind of like our relapse game. We didn't get what we wanted to get done at Michigan State, so now Nebraska's coming here. We have to have a better approach, and it's just better to, like, it's like testing us again on how we should approach our home game, and especially our last home game. So it's going to be a big test for us.
With Nebraska losing a couple, how much more desperate do they become, and how much more dangerous do they become?
Super dangerous because they have. I don't really know about all the record stuff, but I know they're not like top 4, top 5. But I just know they don't have anything to lose. Playing teams like that where they don't have nothing to lose they're very dangerous, especially coming into your hometown.
Talk about the defense on this team and how maybe that needs to improve a little bit as far as moving forward. I was talking to Coach Hiller. He talked about how you guys reached your, points level, but it was just the defense on the other side.
Yeah, offense wasn't bad against our rival, but our defense was very bad, and we seen that film yesterday, and we heard about it for sure. But definitely that's got to lock up. I think it's, again, all our losses seem to be lack of discipline. We got to know who the shooters are on the floor. We can't give them a lot of space, and we got to know who's going to crash the boards. They probably all rebounded us for sure off offensive glass. So we have to study the night before to know what's going on in the next game.
If you guys can tighten that up, do you think it improves the offensive rhythm?
For sure, because that leads to, we didn't have any. We probably had like 4 transition buckets. And we're not known for a transition team right now, but coach always wants us to be better at something we're not. So that kind of hurt us because we usually get like 8 to 10 points off transition. We did not get that done.
A little bit off topic, but you've used the Noah's Ark system to work on your shot. How has that technology helped you?
Shoot, I think my percentage went up at least 10% from last year, or maybe even more than that, from just using that Noah's Ark. Cause I stayed in the spring and I was here all summer, so I was shooting on that with one of my good managers that love to help us. So that helped my arc go up because I used to be flat line. It used to either be short or go off the back of the rim and come back out. And I was like, dang, that sucks. Now my shot either goes in or just rolls in and out it comes out. So
you needed more arc on the shot? For
sure. I was shooting at like 40 to 37 to 40 on the angle. That's not good. Now I'm at probably 45 to 48, and that's where you said Steph Curry kind of shoots at. So I try to aim around there. Coach B's a guru, man. He's a guru.
Is it more fun to work on drills like that when you got something talking to you while you're doing it?
Especially, and you're working one-on-one with Coach B. Your shot's, of course, going to get better if you're working one-on-one with him. But that was definitely exciting this spring.
Your 3-point percentage is actually the 4th best in the Big Ten right now. How much more confident are you as a shooter than last year?
Shoot, I mean, last year I didn't have the confidence I do now, and I mean, I don't ever look at my stats because I don't like to look at that stuff during the season. I just like to play ball, and I always try to see myself as the best shooter in the country or in the conference. Doesn't matter, even though my guy Jordan Poole thinks he is. But we might have to have a rematch in our shooting battle.
I'm curious. I was talking to Brandon Johns a second ago. Just what stands out about him when he first came in?
He wants to get better. He came in with this attitude where he just wants to be a better basketball player than the year before. So, and we can see that happening right now. He came in as a young freshman. They didn't really understand how to play defense at the college level, which was really hard coming from high school. But not only that, he's learning offense. He's gathering a shot. He's getting more aggressive, more physical. He goes in there. He definitely has more of the body to drive into someone, land on two, and go up and dunk it on him with ease because he's super athletic. I would give him the most athletic.
Is that right?
Yeah, Charles jumps the fastest, but Brandon's very athletic. Super athletic. He's long.
So are there things that he does in practice that stand out to you, that kind of surprise you?
Yeah, definitely. He catches oops way over the square box in the backboard, and he can dribble. Like sometimes he'll bust out, get off a rebound, find someone, but that's not his strength right now. But of course, he's going to work on that to be a better player for next year. So I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon is bringing the ball up next year.
John often talks about the importance of November losses and helping a team grow. Because you see that this year, obviously, didn't have that start 19-0. Do you feel like there's anything that you didn't learn that you would have learned as a team that you would have had if you?
We didn't have that fat L in our November losses because we were 19-0, so that was we kind of had to learn the harder way in our conference, which kind of sucks. You don't want to lose a conference game, but like Coach says, I'd rather lose now than win our next game.
Do you feel like now that you've gotten that behind you, that learning period, or still going through?
I promise you, I've been interrogating everybody after that loss because I was very upset, and I'm just
the
asking.
Michigan State one?
Yes, I was asking everyone, what's your goal, what's your motive, what's going on up there, and everybody seems to be focused on this next game. So.
Isaiah, Sunday was only the second home loss you've suffered in your Michigan career. So, with your sophomore year coming to an end here, just how much fun is it playing in a facility like this with a crowd like that, 15 straight sellouts?
I love our fans. I really do. I love Maze Rage, all the donors, all the fans that just like to get up, even come to the early games at noon. I know it's really hard, especially with the Michigan weather. I remember one game this year, it was very bad outside, and still almost sold out the whole crowd, and I was just like, wow, these Michigan fans are crazy.
Thanks,